Hello X, I hope you're doing alright. As per my previous tweets, I've been doing some testing on the copper farm after discovering that, what do we call it, cloud of baby zombies that were a few hundred blocks out from here. So what I've done is, I've been using this farm for a little bit. I've let all those guys fall out into the void, and I think I've diagnosed what the issue is. So what we're going to do is, if you look down here, we've got a few baby zombies on the platform. Obviously, when you're using this, it'd be a wee bit different, but I figured I'd just throw a bunch of baby zombies at this, just to see what their intended behaviour was going to be. So, as you can see, we've got a few attracted to the trapdoor we use as a player, and we've got the farm in here running. Now, I thought with a farm like this, that baby zombies wouldn't really be much of an issue, but apparently I was wrong. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go into first person real quick, and I'm going to hit the armor stand a few times, and you'll see exactly why the baby zombies are flying all over the place. So in first person, use that a few times. And yeah, see, you look at that. Okay, right. So what's basically happening here is the baby zombies are, as you can see, going up into this water stream, and then they collide with all of the drowned we have in here. Now, normally when you're using setups like this, you don't need to worry about entity cramming, which, you know, is super cool. But entity collisions still happen. Think of the old Ravager launchers that people would use for Elytras. You get a bunch of Ravagers into a little 1x1 block or however big it was, and then the player would fall in next to it and then they get launched like 1,000 blocks in one direction. The exact same thing is happening here with the baby zombies. Now, with a farm design like this, there's not actually much you can do. Now, because of the nature of this type of farm, we don't really want to touch it all that much. The only thing we can really do is we can stop the baby zombies from flying out as far. This is going to be a quick and dirty fix, so let's get into it. Right, so what we're going to do here is to stop these little guys from flying all over the place, so we're going to build a retaining wall around the entire farm. We need to make sure we use a block that mobs can't spawn on, and they also can't reinforce on, because that will impact the mechanics of this farm. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to simply place a few blocks out from this platform here. So I'm going to give myself a 5 block gap, and I'm going to start building a wall. Now, when these guys come flying out of here, they have a different set of velocities. It all really depends on how many drowned you have in the core of the farm. Now sure, you can call it every so often, but you're still going to be faced with the same issue. Now, because of the variable velocity that the baby zombies will have, they can come flying out of here in almost any direction. So this box will have to be built around the entire farm. Try and use a cheap material if you can. And what I'd do is, we're going to place a few blocks above, like this, because there's a rough chance that they have a little bit of velocity in that direction and the whole ton in this direction for some reason, and they'll go flying out like that. So what we'll do is, we'll come to, let's just see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll make it 5 blocks tall here. So if you look at the height of this, it should be up to about there. And then we're going to go down 3 blocks below that, and there we go. So when the baby zombies come flying out of this thing, they should just hit the wall and then fall straight down into the void. And then you don't need to worry about lag over a long period of time. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to repeat this around the entire farm. Okay, right, there's our wall in place. Now, as I said, you can use any blocks for this that the zombies won't spawn on. What I'd actually maybe consider doing is either using dirt or using the actual copper blocks you get from this farm, and then placing a layer of half slabs on top so that the zombies can't spawn there. And that should be it for the fix for this farm. You don't necessarily have to do this when you first build it, because knowing you, you'll probably want to be building this again because copper is one of your favourite blocks. So what I'd actually consider doing is just build this farm like normal and run it for however long you want to run it, and then after a few hours, once you've got enough resources, build this little wall around it. Then that way you avoid any lag issues you may encounter. Think of the time when Doc ended up crashing the server without meaning to, when he was working on the mural for his perimeter. He was just within range of his wither was shooting off projectiles, and they would go into unloaded chunks. And then when those unloaded chunks were loaded, there was like 5,000 different entities, and it crashed the whole thing. The same thing was happening here with all those baby zombies, or it could have. It could have, I should say. It didn't actually happen right away, but it would have got close. You had like 4,000 entities out there in the void. So a setup like this should hopefully stop all of that from happening. Now, I've made sure this video is unlisted because I don't want to confuse my audience, as I do hardcore videos and that sort of thing, and I think they'd be a tad bit, you know, amazed that I'm doing a different type of video, so I hope this helped clear any of that up. If you have any other weird things you encounter and you need some problem solving done, feel free to throw it my way. Anyways, I hope all that helps. Good luck with your stuff in Season 10.